8. So we are now in your week 3 for quarter 1, and for this time we will talk about potential and kinetic energy. Stay attentive. Moving on. Here are the points to remember that you could also read in your activity sheets. Energy has two major types: potential energy and kinetic energy. Potential energy is a type of energy at rest. When we say at rest, the object is not moving. It can be solved, dapat may letter D dyan, ano? It can be solved using the formula PE is equal to mgh. So these letters stand for mass, force of gravity, and height. And the operation involved is multiplication. Kinetic energy is a type of energy in motion. In motion, meaning the object is moving. It can be solved using the formula kinetic energy is equal to 1/2 times mv squared. I corrected this. The correct formula is Ke is equal to 1/2 times mass times velocity squared. So, ang sundin nyo dito guys is itong naka-yellow. Okay, so for you to understand this better, I will show you a video clip and then I will pause it from time to time and try to explain. Let's watch this video.
Imagine you have a ball which you throw upwards. As the ball travels upwards, we say that it has kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is a form of energy possessed by a body due to its motion. Therefore, anything that moves has kinetic energy, such as a car traveling on the road and a plane flying in the sky. Even you possess kinetic energy when you walk or run. In fact, the faster a body moves, the greater its kinetic energy. Therefore, when you run, you have more kinetic energy than when you walk.
Anong sabi ng narrator? Sabi niya kinetic, pero ang sa atin, kinetic. Okay, para yung binasa natin sa points to remember, kinetic energy is due to an object's motion. Basta gumagalaw daw yung isang bagay, meron siyang kinetic energy. And kapag mas mabilis yung paggalaw, mas marami rin siyang kinetic energy. Yun lang. Moving on.
When a body stops, there is no more kinetic energy. When you come to a stop, or when the car stops moving, kinetic energy becomes zero. If we now raise the ball to a certain height and release it, what happens? It starts falling downwards, right? It starts from a position of rest and then gains speed when you let it go. In other words, it starts with zero kinetic energy and then gains some kinetic energy. Where does this kinetic energy come from? This energy, which is stored in the ball, is called potential energy. Potential energy is a form of energy stored in a body due to its position. Let's have a closer look. Here, the position is the ball's height from the ground. When you release it, the potential energy converts to kinetic energy. In fact, the higher the ball, the larger its potential energy. That is why, if we raise the ball to a greater distance from the ground and release it, it will hit the ground harder. Let's look at another example.
Ano daw yung sabi dito? Kapag yung isang bagay daw hindi gumagalaw, ang meron sa kanya potential energy. Yung energy na to nakadepende sa layo niya sa mula sa lupa. So kapag mas mataas siya, mas maraming potential energy. At yung halimbawa diyan or dito yung bola, ano? So kapag tinaas mo yung bola, potential ang meron sa kanya. Kapag hinulog mo na, mako-convert yon sa kinetic energy. Bakit daw malakas yung impact sa lupa or sa ground, yung pagbagsak ng bola kapag mas mataas? Kasi nga, mas marami siyang potential energy na na-convert din sa mas maraming kinetic energy. Kaya, again, potential energy is a stored energy and is dependent on the distance from the ground. No, nakasulat, the higher the ball, the larger or the higher is the potential energy.
Look at the slingshot. It has stored energy with which it can throw the bird up to a certain distance. Based on its position in the slingshot, we can say the bird has potential energy. As soon as it's released from the slingshot, it gains kinetic energy. And because of kinetic energy, it is able to apply force on the little houses to break them down. Time for an exercise. Who has the greatest potential energy?
Alin daw dyan sa tatlo ang may pinaka mataas na potential energy? Si yellow, si blue, or green? Anong sagot niyo dyan? Tingnan natin.
Bubbles has the most potential energy because she is at the top. We know that potential energy increases with the increase in the distance of a body from the ground.
Okay, so ang may pinakamataas na potential energy dyan is si Bubbles or yung yellow. Bakit? Kasi siya yung may pinakamataas na posisyon or kinalalagyan. Pinakamababang potential energy itong si color blue. Potential energy increases as the distance of a body from the ground increases. Sabi niya.
Let's summarize. Potential energy is the energy of a body due to its position. Kinetic energy, on the other hand, is the energy of a body due to its motion. Potential energy mostly depends on the distance of a body from the ground. Kinetic energy depends on its speed.
Ang bait niya, sinamarize niya pa Potential energy is due to position and is dependent on the distance from the ground. The higher from the ground, the more is the potential energy. Basta yung potential, hindi gumagalaw yung bagay. Kapag gumalaw na-convert na yun sa kinetic energy. And it is due to motion. Basta gumalaw, meron siyang kinetic energy. And the faster the speed is, the higher or the greater is the kinetic energy. Okay, let's move on to your activities. Here is your activity 1 that is entitled, What is the hidden message? What will you do? You will identify the terminologies found in the connected boxes using the brief description. Ayun. So, ano lang to? Fill in the box with the missing letters to form the term being described. Number 1. What do you call the energy that an object possesses due to its motion? Motion, gumagalaw yung bagay. Okay. Tapos, N. Dalawa lang naman yun. Potential or kinetic energy. Easy, ano? Number 2. What type of energy an object has because of its position? Alin ba dun sa 2 types of energy ang nagtatapos sa L? Siyempre yung E, kinetic energy, potential energy, pili kayo dyan. So, write your answer in your answer sheets. Number 3, it is a unit of work or energy equal to the work done by a force of 1 Newton acting through a distance of 1 meter. Unit daw. Unit of work or energy, which starts with letter J. Balikan niyo yung points to remember. Baka merong doon, may clue. So, anong unit of work or unit ng energy ang nagsisimula sa letter J and is with how many letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Spell ko nga. Singular siya, singular. Kasi nga, a unit. Number 4, it is a measure of the amount of matter in an object. It is usually measured in grams or kilograms. Katumbas yan ng timbang kasi nga, it is expressed in grams or kilograms. So, how much matter is present in an object? That is your answer for number 4. A ang second letter and ends with letter S. May clue. Tuloy. Number 5. It is a vector quantity. Pag sinabing vector quantity, ano yon? May magnitude, andyan pala siya, and direction. N is the time rate of change of position of an object. Letter V. This is the counterpart ng speed. Kung yung speed na, di ba yung speed magnitude lang? For example, 5 meter per second. Speed yun. Pag nilagyan mo ng direction, nagiging letter V na siya. Anong tawag na? Ending with letter Y. Hidden message. So, sa hidden message na to, makakabuo ka ng sentence. So, dun sa mga letters na nilagay mo sa mga boxes ng 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, andyan na yung katumbas na letters. For example, dito sa number 5, yung third letter is number 1. So, yung number 1 na yan, na letter, i-fill up mo rin dito sa lahat ng number 1. Dito sa hidden message. And then, yung kung ano naman yung letter na tumapat dyan sa number 2, dito sa sagot mo na letter V, nasabi ko ay nagtatapos sa letter Y. Yung letter na yan, ang isulat mo rin sa lahat ng number 2. Dito sa hidden message. Ilang letters ang number 2 dito? 1, 2, 3. Ganun. Para mabuo mo yung hidden message. So, kanina siguro nagtataka kayo bakit may mga numbers sa baba. Ito pala yon. Yung mga letters na natapat sa bawat number, isulat mo dito sa hidden message. Parang ang dali dito sa 6. Pati yung number 4. Kayang-kaya niyan. minsan common sense. Okay? Let's continue. Activity number 2. Ito na yung medyo madugo, ano? Where is the missing data? Where is, meaning hanapin mo. Direction, solve the missing data about potential energy and kinetic energy. Ayun. So, may mga binigay na formula kanina doon sa points to remember. Ito na yung application niya, guys. These are the 3 formula that you should always remember as you accomplish activity number 2. PE is equal to M times G times H. Ano yung PE? Potential energy. Ano yung M? Mass. Expressed in kilogram. Tignan nyo sa column o sa table. Mass is expressed in kilogram. What is G? That is the constant value. Huwag mo na yung hanapin yun sa dyan sa given sa table. Kasi constant siya. Laging kasali. 9.8 kung kailangan na. 9.8 meter per second squared ang value ni G or the so-called force of gravity. Ano naman yung height? Height. Yung taas. What is the unit? M, which is meter. So, for example, dito sa table, ang missing ay potential energy. So, paano mo isosolve si potential energy? O, di i-times mo si mass kay G at kay H. Mass times G times H. For example, sa number 1, or I mean the first row in your table, potential energy is equal to mass. Ano yung mass? 1.23 kilograms times G. Ano yung G? 9.8 meter per second squared times height, which is given in the first row, 3.4 meters. Yung masosolve mo dyan, that is your answer for potential energy. Next formula, M. Ano yung M ulit? Mass. Paano daw masosolve yan? I-divide mo daw si potential energy kay GH. PE over. Pag sinabing over, what is the operation involved? Division. So, PE divided by G times H. So, bago mo i-divide si potential energy, i-multiply mo muna si G at H. Sa second row, guys, mga grade 8, meron ka ng 98.61 joules. Andito, joules, unit ng ano yan. Andun kanina sa activity number 1. Pero singular. 98.61 joules is equal or divided by G. Ano yung G? 9.8 times H. Ano yung height mo sa second row? 4.3 meters. Para makuha mo si mass. Ulitin ko. Sa second row, M ang missing mass. Paano mo makukuha? Si 98.61 joules, i-divide mo sa product ni na 9.8 and 4.3. Yun si G at saka si H. Third formula is for height or H is equal to PE over mg. Potential energy divided by mass times G. Walang G sa table kasi nga constant siya. Basta kapag G, ang gagamitin mo 9.8 meter per second squared. Paano mo isosolve itong third row na ang missing ay height? Sundin mo lang yung formula. Height is equal to 150.45 joules divided by 3.45 kilogram, that is your mass, times 9.8 meter per second squared. I-multiply mo muna si 3.45 kilogram kay 9.8. And then yung product nila, yun yung pang-divide mo kay 150.45 joules. Ganon din si next row, height ulit ang wala. Sa last row dito, ang nawawala ay si potential energy. So, i-apply mo lang yung mga yan, mga formula, and then you substitute the values. Okay, I will present you example problems. Pero word problem siya. Ito kasi table, naka-table. Very easy naman yan. Basta sundin mo yung formula. Ito na. Ito na guys, yung example na sinasabi ko. First problem, you are to solve for PE or potential energy. An object of mass 30 kilograms is placed on a hilltop of height 80 meters. What is the potential energy of the object? So, parang yung first row nyo sa table kanina, ang isosolve nyo ay PE or potential energy. Ito na siya, PE equals M times G times H. Ano yung mass? 30 kg. Nandyan sa problem. Ano yung G? Constant value yon. Huwag nyong kalilimutan. 9.8 meter per second squared. And then, yung 80, saan kinuha yun? Dun sa height H. 80 meters. I-multiply mo lang yan. Ang lalabas ay 23,520 joules. That is the amount of potential energy. Second problem, you will solve for mass. This should be small letter M. A fruit hangs from a tree. Yung prutas daw, nakahang, nakabitin, from a tree and is about to fall to the ground of 10 meters height. Mahuhulog na daw siya. Gaano kataas? 10 meters from the ground. It has a potential energy of 22.5 joules. What is the mass of the fruit? Di gamitin mo yung formula. M is equal to potential energy slash or over yan. Meaning divide. PE divided by G times H. First thing to do, you multiply first 9.8 times 10. Saan kinuha yung mga yan ulit? Yung G, constant talaga yan. Yan na yun, 9.8. Yung 10, saan kinuha yun? Yung height. Kasi G times H. Sabi sa problem, 10 meters height. Kaya times 10. Ang lalabas dyan, 0.229 kilograms. Yun na yung mass ng prutas na mahuhulog mula sa puno. Number 3, or third problem, you will solve for the height. 5 kilogram weighing cat climbing at the top of the tree has a potential energy of 1,176 kilograms. Find the height of the tree. Yung pusa daw na may timbang na 5 kilo umaakyat sa puno. Meron siyang potential energy na 1,176 joules. Joules dapat yan, Find the height. Gaano kataas yung puno? Again, you apply the formula. Minsan kasi kapag computation na natataranta na tayo, kailangan lang talaga intindihin, isipin aling formula ang applicable. And then you apply the technique KQS. KQS. Ano yung K? Known or the given. Q, question, what is asked. And then S, solution. And then you substitute the values. Height equals PE divided by mass times G or M times G. Ano yung PE? Nandiyan na sa problem. Potential energy, 1,176 joules. Ano yung mass niya? 5 kilograms. 5 kilogram weight, weighing, sabi niya. Yung G, constant na naman yon 9.8. Baka mamaya hanap-hanapin nyo yung G. Constant value siya talaga, 9.8. If you will solve that, 1,176 divided by the product of 9.8 and 5 will give you 24 centimeters. Yun daw yung height nung tree. Bakit naging centimeter, madam? Conversion lang yan. Okay, let's continue. So, for letter B, you will solve kinetic energy problems. Just fill in the missing data. What are the formula that you will use? KE or kinetic energy equals 1/2 times mass times velocity squared. Ano yung 1/2? 0.5 yun. Velocity squared. You will just multiply the value of velocity with itself. Mass or M equals 2 KE or 2 you double the kinetic energy over velocity squared or divided by velocity squared. And then if the missing is V or velocity, you will get the square root of 2 KE over mass or double kinetic energy divided by mass. Yung square root nun, yun yung velocity. Okay, first row. Anong nawawala dyan? Kinetic energy. How will you solve? Ayun o, 1/2 or 0.5 times mass times velocity squared. So, you have to square this 2.3. And then, i-multiply mo kay 2.34. Yun yung mass. And then, times 0.5 para makuha mo si kinetic energy. Sa second row, ang nawawala ay velocity. I-apply mo. So, square root daw ni 2KE. 2 times kinetic energy. Ano yung kinetic energy sa second row? 70.54 joules times 2 divided by 4.75 kilograms kasi M yon. Yung answer is square root mo. Yun na yung velocity. Gamit ka ng ng calculator kasi square root. Sa third row, ang nawawala ay mass. Mass. What is the formula? M is equal to 2KE over or divided by velocity squared. Paano mo gagawin yan? 81.89 times 2 divided by the square of 6.89. So, square mo muna yan bago mo gamitin divisor ni 2KE. And that will give you your mass. Okay, I will give you or I will show you sample problems. Let's go. Ito siya. Number 1. Solution for kinetic energy. What is the kinetic energy of a 150 kilogram object that is moving with a speed of 15 meters per second? What is the formula? Tandaan mo lang yon. So, KE is equal to 1/2 times mass times velocity squared kanina. Substitution, KE equals 1/2 or 0.5 times 150 kilograms. And then, yung square ng 15 meter per second is 225. Multiply them 3. That will give you 1,000 or 16,875 joules. Kinetic energy yon. Application. Sa number 2 naman, an object has a kinetic energy of 25 joules and a mass of 34 kilograms. How fast is the object moving? How fast? Pag sinabing how fast, speed or velocity. What is the formula for velocity? 2 ke divided by mass. Or velocity squared equals 2 ke over m. And then you square root. And then the answer is 1.28 meter per second. Basta substitution lang yan at following the formula. Sa number 3 naman, you will solve for mass. An object moving with a speed of 35 meter per second and has a kinetic energy of 1,500 joules. What is the mass of the object? Mass naman ano? What is the formula for mass? Balikan niyo yung kanina. 2ke over v2. That is your mass, or 2 times your kinetic energy, which is 1,500 joules, divided by 35 squared. Ano yung 35 squared? 1,225. So yung 2 times 1,500 or 1,500, 3,000 yun. Yung 35 squared, 1,225. You divide. That will give you 2.45 kilograms. Balik-balikan nyo lang yung mga formula nyo, and then you look at these sample problems. It's just a matter of correct substitution. Kayang-kaya yan, mga kaibigan. Okay, let's proceed. Activity 3. Let's investigate in the living room. Saan yung living room? Sa sala. Okay. Imbestigahan nyo nga daw yung mga bagay-bagay dyan sa sala ninyo. Look and name 3 objects in your living room that is positioned on the floor. Record the name of the object in table number 1. So look at your activity sheets. Merong table 1 dyan. Una mong gagawin, ilista mo yung mga 3 bagay na napili mo. Yung 3 bagay na nasa sahig dyan sa sala ninyo. Position on the floor, Okay. So, you need your meter stick. Kung wala, di ruler. Weighing scale, timbangan, at saka timer. O yung timer, yung cellphone, pwede naman. Madam, yung timbangan. Paano ba kung wala kayong timbangan? Makihanap kayo dyan sa mga may sari-sari store, may timbangan sila. Yung mga nagbebenta ng bigas. Meron yan. Or meron din naman yung mga bagay or gamit sa sala natin ninyo na nakasulat na yung dun, yung weight niya. Oo, tignan nyo sa mga sa mga label or tatak. May mga gamit na ganun nakalagay kung gaano kabigat. Hindi nyo na kailangan yung timbangan kapag ganun yung napili nyo, di ba? Para-paraan. Okay, ano daw yung gagawin? Find, try object in your own house. Sabi ko na yon. Using the weighing scale, kunin nyo daw yung timbang ng bawat isa. I-record nyo rin doon sa table 1. Siyempre magkakatapat yan. For example, ang una mong napili ay ironing board o yung pagplantsahan. Nakasulat doon. Ironing board. Sa tapat niya, gaano kabigat? For example, 1.5 kilograms. Kasi magagaan na ngayon yung mga bagong ironing board or kabakabayo. Okay. So, pangalan, tapos timbang. Sulat nyo dyan sa table 1. And then, measure the height. Sukatin nyo daw. Gamit ang meter stick or yung ruler. Gano'ng kataas yung bagay na napili mo. Sulat mo din doon sa table 1. Using the collected data, solve for the potential energy. Record your data in table 1. I-apply nyo na naman dyan yung formula ng potential energy. Ano yung formula ng potential energy? mgh. Potential energy is equal to mass, yung timbang, times G. Ano yung G? 9.8. Constant yon, yung force of gravity. Ano yung height? Yung nakuha mo na taas ng bagay. Times mo lang yon, mgh. Yun na yung answer sa potential energy. Diba? Kala nyo lang mahirap. Ito naman. Dito naman sa letter B, kinetic energy. Call 3 members of the family. Identify the name and record in table number 2. Kung kanina mga bagay, ngayon naman tao. Mga 3 kapamilya ang kailangan mo naman. Lista mo saan? Sa table number 2. Obtain the mass. Isa-isa sila, dapat alam mo rin yung bigat nila or timbang. Minsan alam na natin yung timbang natin, especially kung hindi ka naman ganun kabilis tumaba or tumaya. Look for an open area outside the house and measure a distance of 10 meters where they can walk freely. Maglalakad daw sila dun sa 10 meters. 10 meters na space dyan sa ninyo, yard, dyan sa paraangan ninyo. Ilocano, no? Basta maintindihan nyo. So, they can walk freely in the speed of their choice or velocity. Let each member walk at a distance of 10 meters. Record their time in table 2. So, sa table 1, all about potential energy, using your 3 objects. You will solve for potential energy mgh, mass times gravity, which is 9.8 times height. Dito naman sa kinetic energy sa table 2, yung 3 tao, sulat mo yung timbang nila, and then orasan mo daw. Gaano sila kabilis maglakad, or gaano nila kabilis na lakad yung 10 meters na yun. Isang way lang baka naman back and forth, one way lang. Orasan mo na. Record mo lahat yan sa table 2. Okay. Number 5, compute the speed of each member by dividing the distance traveled to the time consumed in walking. Paano mo daw makompute yung speed? Distance divided by time. For example, 10 meters. 10 divided by, for example, nalakad niya yun ng, malayo rin yung 10 meters. 10 meters, nalakad niya yun ng 5 minutes. Convert mo sa seconds. I-divide mo lang yan. Yun yung speed niya, meter per second. Using the mass and computed speed of each member, solve for the kinetic energy of each member for the 10 meters distance they traveled. Ano yung formula ng kinetic energy? Natandaan nyo ba? KE is equal to 1/2 times mass times velocity squared, sabi niya doon. I-apply nyo lang yan. So, ang una nyong gagawin dyan sa table 2, dapat alam nyo yung speed. Paano daw? I-divide mo si 10 meters, kasi 10 meters naman talaga yung lalakarin nila, di ba? 10 meters divided by kung gaano katagal, ilang minuto. Segundo na i-convert nyo sa seconds. How many seconds are there in 1 minute? 60. Alam nyo na yan. And then you compute for kinetic energy. Don't forget the velocity squared. I-square nyo muna siya bago nyo i-times kay mass at saka kay 1/2 or 0.5. Tama ba? You review the formula given. So, yun yung activities 1 to 3. Let's see kung merong guide questions. Okay, meron nga. So, you have how many... Ito ba yung guide questions lahat? Let's see mamaya. Which among the objects you found in your living room possess the highest potential energy, lowest kinetic energy? O di, saan ka kukuha ng sagot dyan? Doon sa mga computation mo na nakasulat sa table 1. Aling bagay daw ang may pinakamataas na potential energy? Alin naman sa tatlo ang may pinakamababang kinetic energy? Sa table 2 naman yan. So, lahat ng sagot mo dyan nakadepende sa table, dun sa mga computations mo doon. Number 2, who among the members of your family possess the highest kinetic energy, lowest kinetic energy? O, nagkamali sila dito. O, typographical. Typographical. Doon sa number 1, guys, potential pareho yan. Which possess the highest potential energy and lowest potential energy din. Table 1 yun. Sa number 2, highest kinetic energy, lowest kinetic energy din. From your table 2. Kasi it's all about your kinetic energy. Sa number 3, if you place the objects in you selected from your living room, sabi siguro yan, ano. Because I screenshot this from the soft copy. Ano sabi sa number 3? If you place the objects you selected in your living room to other part of the house, will its potential energy change? Why? Anong ibig sabihin yan? Kapag ilalagay mo daw yung mga bagay sa ibang part ng bahay mo, kunyari tataas siya from the ground, magbabago kaya yung potential energy niya? Bakit? Kasi nga sabi kanina, potential energy is due to its position. The higher the object from the ground is, the greater is the potential energy. Parang nasagot ka na, pero explain mo pa rin yan. Magbabago kaya ang potential energy niya kapag inilipat mo siya to the other part of your house? Bakit? Number 4, if each member has the same speed in moving, does it automatically say that they will have the same kinetic energy? Why? Porkit ba pare-pareho sila ng speed daw, pare-pareho na rin sila ng kinetic energy? Remember, speed lang ba ang factor to determine the kinetic energy? Hindi meron pang ibang factor. Nasagot ko na, no? Bakit? Automatic ba na makakapare sila ng kinetic energy porkit pare-pareho sila ng bilis? Tapos pareho din yung distance kasi nakalagay doon 10 meters yung 10 meters yung lalakarin nila. Meron pa rin factor doon. Isipin nyo. Why? Basta look at the formula. Is it only the velocity and the distance that will affect the amount of kinetic energy? Why not? Why or why not? Mga ganon. Ayan, so we are done with your week 3. I hope you understood your activities, and for any question, you can comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Until next time, happy learning from yours truly, Teacher Mylene. Bye!